So my name is Shawna Sadler. I'm from the University of Calgary. Tom Hickerson sends his regrets for not being able to come, so hopefully I can stand in his place and wear the hat. I am the technology officer for our new building. So for this presentation, I'm going to try and speak more broadly about space, not just technologies, but of course many of our more interesting spaces or innovative or different spaces have technologies, so I can lean on that a little bit. So just a quick outline of today. I'll do a quick overview of our new Taylor Family Digital Library. Tom wanted me to mention the organizational overview, of course some of our partners and spaces, and then some of the things that we're going to try doing next that are hopefully interesting for the group here today. So this is our rendering from our architects. This is the Taylor Family Digital Library. We've been in it for about a year now. It's 265,000 square feet, and it was an expensive one. $205 million paid for the building, a high-density library, and the landscaping in front of the building. The landscaping was quite expensive because we had to do quite a lot of grading for drainage, and we did a really interesting water management program for the lawns as well. So hopefully we've done something quite interesting with this money. Tom's vision for this building is that really that first line there is that it's a state-of-the-art learning and research center, and he really wanted to make it different, to make it stand out, take this opportunity for a new building. As Sarah mentioned, renovation projects are quite normal, and we had the significant opportunity of a new building, so we really wanted to go for it and do something different. And his line at the bottom, "We should imagine greatness," that really was the benchmark that we had to achieve. Something else Tom says is the Taylor is an instrument of research, and we really did want to focus on our user groups, the students, the faculty, and the community, which is something quite new for Calgary. We are a commuter campus, and we don't really have many people from the city of Calgary coming to our campus, and that's something that we want to change, and we really think the Taylor will be a driver of that. So organizationally, Tom felt to make this building a success and to achieve the lofty goals that he set, we had to restructure. And so we did integrate the library, archive, museum, and press. So we call ourselves a LAMP. And I heard from University of Aberdeen yesterday, they're called a GLAM. And I think there's all sorts of wonderful acronyms out there. So. And just to make things a little more interesting, Tom did set our collections and our discovery group a new goal, and that we really have to emphasize the collections of the future. So those of you who are participating in ARL know that Tom is quite a driver in collections of the future, the collections of the 21st century, and that digital in multi-format, not just e-journals and e-books, but multimedia and film and image and animation and data sets are just so important for the academic work that happens on our campus, and the library needs to be ready to support them so our students and faculty can read them and create the new knowledge of these new data sets. And of course, if we're a LAMP and we have collections from the library, archives, museum, and press, why should our users go to 5 different or 4 different interfaces to search those collections? They should go to one interface. So again, our collections and discovery group have been given the challenge of one interface that our researchers can use to find everything from all those different collections. No small task, but it's proving to be interesting, and OCLC is helping us out with that too. So just shifting to the building, here's our lean, mean team. It's Claudette, Tom, and I. Claudette is the program director. Tom is, like Sarah, the director and the driver of the project, and I took care of technology. So some of the themes that we gave to our architect, engineers, and everyone involved in the project, mostly the bolded words here, to be agile. The building has to be responsive to student needs. The way we build it in 2012 is not how it's going to look in 2015. And you need to make that easy for us to change because the student needs, the faculty needs change so fast. And I'll speak to some of those in a minute. It always has to be contemporary. And again, the ability to change is so important to us. And that not only do we have to change and remain relevant, but take it a step further and be inspiring, and that hopefully we can be a point of inspiration on our campus. And then for our staff, to the challenge of being innovative, always question, always drive, and how can we do it better? So quickly speaking to the ability to be agile, we did 2 significant decisions that were expensive, but I think we're really glad we did them. First, you can see from the bottom slides, we have a raised floor system in the building. And so all the electrical data and the air systems go through the floor. And what happens here is that if we want to rearrange a space, it's easy for us to move the electrical and data. Easy is a relative term, and cost-effective is probably also a relative term, but compared to traditional construction, it certainly is. The other decision that we made is about 60% of the walls in the building are demountable. So again, we can take down walls, rearrange them, move electrical outlets, and rebuild. And sure enough, a year after opening, we're already planning those small projects that Sarah talked about. Something that we've never regretted is telling our electrical engineer that we needed an electrical outlet for every public seat. Boy, did he go pale fast. We had to add a whole nother infrastructure circuit to campus just for this building. But I'll tell you, we've remained relevant and important to our students, and we add value to the student experience by providing a plug. It's the simplest thing, but so important. And really, furniture companies are doing a good job, and you can see a few of our pictures here of the electrical that's built in, so that way we don't have all those tripping hazards that we're all experiencing. Something that is as basic as water and air in a building now is the wireless, as we've all experienced here. And I think that is, again, where we found great success. Challenge for our architects and engineers, it's the bookcases absorb a tremendous amount of the wireless signal. And then actually second to that are the books. So finding that right balance of the concentration of wireless antennas was a very good challenge for our building planners. Something that I think we did that's maybe taking it a step further is making digital signage an important element of our infrastructure. I find the library has almost two faces for our users. One is the physical space, and the other is our digital space, because our electronic resources are used so heavily. So I wanted to provide a physical space for our digital infrastructure. And you can see we have some freestanding kiosks, and those are movable with the right equipment, and again, with the plugs that are in the middle of the floor and that we can rearrange, we can move the digital signage and have that virtual presence in the physical space of the library anywhere we want. And we did make sure that those screens are touch screens, so they are interactive, and they do have an audio component that is controlled, but we can enhance the physical experience with some of our virtual assets. So something Tom wanted me to mention to you all is that we did integrate the reference and circulation service desk. So our reference staff have taken over circulation functions as well. We are evolving that service, and our circulation staff have shifted over to books and reshelving. Many of our bookshelvers moved over to our high-density library, so we did have quite a nice trickle down, or trickle over, I should say, of our staff. Leanne Morrow is our head of instruction and reference, and she initiated a service, a mobile reference service. And so those reference staff were each assigned an iPad and were given a $50 gift card to personalize their iPads. They could become familiar and hopefully take advantage of that wireless infrastructure that we have throughout the building. Change is hard, and our poor staff have faced a lot of change in the past year. So this service wasn't met with the greatest of enthusiasm, but we have had great discussions with other universities, specifically most recently, University of Washington, and they seem to have quite a successful model. So reinvigorated our hope that mobile reference will become more successful. The other driver is actually the students are telling us, like Jim was saying, that they like their space and they don't want to lose it, because it's actually quite competitive in our building to find that study space. And if they pack up their things and go ask a question at the first floor reference desk, they'll lose it. And so they don't come down and ask for fear of losing their study space. So why can't we go to them? We can provide that service. And so we have a few different drivers, and I think mobile reference is in our future. Something that we talked about yesterday was the different services that we can provide because of our building, and we're including more outreach for the grade school students around southern Alberta. And it's been really fun to watch some of them. Here's just a few of those examples. But more importantly, here are the pictures. So we're having a lot of fun, and of course, having such young people in the building is really lovely. And this is one of my favorite shots here. So we had an elementary school group come in, and in our special collections area, of course, Tom built a teaching space, and that we have a significant rug collection from Afghanistan. And so the students were brought in, and they were given a lesson on Afghanistan, the current topics that are, current issues, and they were shown some of the rugs that reflect some of the issues that are happening in Afghanistan. And they actually got to touch them and feel them. And as you can see, one of our students smelt the rug. The value of first experience. You can't smell a digital object, can you? So he really took advantage of it. And then they were given an assignment for the bottom image, to reflect on what they learned that day and from seeing the rugs. And they did drawings, they did poems, and all sorts of different forms of expression. So it was a great experience, and we're really happy. So we hope that they also have a greater allegiance to the University of Calgary and come to our university. Collaborative spaces, again, is something that's really important to our building. So we have 3 different types that are really designated to or designed for the undergraduate students. So first are those student workrooms that we've all come to love. We wanted to do more peer management because they are so popular. So you see we did a touch screen at the front of each door that displays who has the room booked, and the students can book the room at the touch screen as well. Because we have so many, about 28 of them over 3 floors, and that have different features, and for whatever reason the students value a specific room, we allow them to select that room. We did our environmental scan before we planned the building and did find that presentation practice rooms were incredibly popular at those universities who did install them, so we did mimic that. And sure enough, they have been very popular. So students can put up their presentation, and there's a camera in the room that can record them doing their presentation, then do a playback. So that way they can say, oh, I'm stuttering, that slide doesn't work, or I'm using my hands too much as I'm waving my hand around. We've also had really good response from our graduate students practicing for their defense. And what a wonderful response to get for something, this nice infrastructure. I'm a little bit competitive, so I took it one step further than what I'd seen at other universities. And in one of the rooms, I added a professional video conference system that our students can book. So that way, if they want to participate in an academic conference that's off campus, they can book this room, and then we can have our staff set it up for them. And as happened, and thank goodness, again, our president and provost said they wanted more students involved in the academic work of the research that happens on campus. So we happened by happen chance. So lucky to align ourselves with the strategic plan. Not much creativity needed there. We already had it built. So. And then again, with Tom's emphasis on the collections of the future and allowing our students and faculty to create new knowledge with the new forms of digital collections, we created 4 edit suites. 2 of them have Mac computers and 2 have PCs. And we do have lots of equipment that the students can check out. And so these rooms are not soundproof, but as soundproof as we could make them. And they can either listen or read those audio collections that we have, or record. And that's been quite significant for our groups. You can see we have the nice high-end microphone and speakers, and they can check out a musical keyboard if they like. We also have nice language learning software. So if students are learning a new language, they can book one of these rooms and practice speaking in the microphone, and the software gives them feedback on their grammar, their accent, all that sort of good stuff. So it's nice to be able to do that in a discrete location rather than in a wide open public space. That would feel awkward. So hopefully we're supporting our students with lots of different audio work. Just quickly, we did invest in this software from a company called Tidebreak out of California. So in the group workrooms, that first top picture, students can bring their laptops, or I should say their mobile technologies, log into the room, and they all work on the same file at the same time. You don't have that poor person who's the editor for the group and management, all that, the different versions. Everybody has the same version, and they're all participating real time with the file development. So. And then we have instruction space, and then we have a software called ClassBot. And so it's not this sort of lecture listen dynamic that the instructor can open the file for interaction. So the students, either with the computers that are in the room or their laptop, log in and actually contribute to the file. You'll notice in the room we also have 70-inch touch screens, so the students can use that as another platform for contributing to the classwork. The last element that I think is significant for collaboration is we actually have furniture that is movable. And that's quite a hot topic in the Learning Commons community. And I'm glad we did it. It is a challenge for staff management of the space because, boy, those students really like moving furniture. And at the end of the day, it can look pretty messy. So we all are working out. We certainly have heard best practices from staff who have, overnight staff that put it back to their original place. And I think that's something we're working on. But I thought one thing that was interesting, being the technology lead for the buildings, I worked with the interior designers because there are new standards for table height for mobile technologies. And it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches lower than a standard table height. And that has been incredibly valuable for our students. As you can see, these girls on the left have their laptops out, and they can work comfortably. Their shoulders aren't by their ears. And again, they have the electrical outlet close by, movable furniture. It's all working out really nicely that way. Some of the new public computing. So we did want to enable our students with some new, I won't go into too much detail here, 'cause if you want more information about my technology plan, come see me, or I have a nice CNI presentation that's up as well. So we did bring in touch tables. We have a digital globe that displays anything round instead of flat. What a boring way of looking at things, flat. Why not round? And of course, our edit suites. We did introduce multi-surface computing at the bottom center. And then, of course, I think we may be the first to introduce DJ mixing board for our students. And that way the students learn how to edit and manipulate audio files. So for our public computing, we have PCs, we have Macs, and we also do a netbook checkout program. I do have a close relationship with one of the labs in computer science, and they did let me know that really the future of computing is multi-surface computing. And so that's something that I brought an emphasis to in our building. So again, the students with laptops and a big screen in the room so they can all work together. For faculty, when we talked to them about preparing for this building, they said they needed more space, that all their research and all their work is all digital. They're running multiple applications, and they just needed more room. So we built them, and with an academic committee, advisory committee, that top right-hand picture is actually a visualization room that only faculty can book. And it's a screen that's, I forget the exact dimensions, but I think it's about 16 feet wide and about 6 feet high. And so there's 30 megapixels. So lots of real estate, high resolution, and a collaborative space for faculty to book. And 7.1 surround sound as of last week. Classroom with touchscreens on the side and dual monitor computers for our students, and I will tell you that made us so popular on campus. If you want some student credits, I say dual monitor computers will buy you lots of goodwill. Yesterday, we had quickly talked about staffing and what kind of skill sets we need to bring in. And so I just wanted to quickly mention that some of our new programs are actually being really run by people who don't have library backgrounds, that we've brought these people in specifically for their skill sets. And so this is Dylan and John. Dylan, on the left, has a Bachelor of Education, and he's got about 10 or 15 years worth of experience in the K-12 area, integrating technologies into the K-12 program. And he loves the idea of being able to do this into an academic environment. So that's an exciting opportunity for him, and it's been working out really well. He also has lots of experience with peer mentoring and coaching. And so I think we'll be able to take advantage of lots of his skills that way. And John, on the right, came to us from the Department of Computer Science. He didn't want to write another paper, and so he's happy to work in the library and manage that visualization room. And we're also going to start a really aggressive program in visualization. We think that's going to be part of the new knowledge of the library. And soon our gallery is going to open. It's not quite ready yet, but Tom did want me to mention that it's coming. We promise it's coming. So quickly, some of the new alliances that we have. Student Success Center, as Sarah mentioned, we have in our building. We are integrating our services as much as possible with them, and we are seeing more opportunities every day. And of course, Alumni Services is also in the building, and we do take advantage of the relationship and refer people back and forth. We volunteer at each other's events, and really planning. We do lots of planning together, and they're a great group. So the other alliances that we're building is actually really focused with researchers and how our building can support researchers. So I did mention the Visualization Studio. It has lots of support from our researchers. We're going to start taking bookings for it in 2 weeks' time. We're just finishing construction right now. The Visualization Studio is in the center, and then smaller versions it would be created in faculties across campus, around campus, and that those are the different departments that would have them. And so they would develop sort of in their own departments and then come more to a collaborative space or a larger, more aggressive space in the library. So that's nice that we actually got to be in the middle and be the driver of a federal level grant. So hope we get it. we're talking about doing a research commons next that we certainly feel like we are serving the needs of our undergraduates. We want to turn more of our focus towards graduate and faculty in the building. Because we do have space designated already, we're thinking more of a distributed model rather than a designated space. So again, with that visualization studio certainly being focused on research. And we have this space, Tom calls it the eyebrow, that white piece, and it's right in the middle of our first floor. And our first floor, we've done the gate count, and during our top fall and winter semesters, it's between 10 and 17,000 people a day walk through. Of course, they don't all stay in the library, but it is center of campus. So that's a lot of foot traffic. So one of the things we're working on, sort of a proof of concept, is one of the students in that computer science department that I'm working on Monday, set up his research using one of our digital kiosks, and he's going to be interviewing and gathering data in the middle of the library. He's going to be conducting his research the main floor of the library, and I think this is one of our ways of using space and providing service that's really valuable to more of our graduate and faculty. I mean, 17,000 people a day, that's a lot, and try to do random data sampling, that's not too bad. Just quickly, we had an art student actually set up her art piece in the library, again on that first floor, and she had the piece up for a month, and she actually, a graduate student, was able to book it for 3 more events, 3 more exhibits, because it was in a central high response place, and one of them was actually a professional gallery. And so we were really excited to be able to provide that opportunity for our students. And last is a data visualization project that I'm a researcher on. It's called Bohemian Bookshelf. And it's the computer science department saying, you guys need to fix your search interface. It's too boring. Text is just the past, so dull. And so they said, okay, we'll prove it. How can we do this? So they came up with a few different interfaces for searching for books. And they didn't actually get much traction in their conferences or journals. They were rejected. And so what they did is they came into our library and conducted research. They had librarian interviews, faculty student interviews, collected the data. And once they did that, they were tremendously successful. There was, about a month ago, a conference called CHI, Computer-Human Interaction. Tremendous response. They were so popular. It was just wonderful. And another project we're working on is with the New York Times R&D Lab. And actually, the New York Times has approached them and said, we want to use one of your visualizations on our website. And that's really rewarding. The library is able to facilitate that partnership and enable our graduate students for success. What a service. It's just wonderful. As I mentioned, Tom has a great dedication to engaging with our community. And I really think that new Nickle Galleries will be a highlight for that, but also some of our programs. And we really do want to target more community coming onto campus to support community engagement on campus. And thank you.